Welcome to Lion Analytics. Let's talk about some charts that beginner analysts love to use, but probably shouldn't. A lot of these don't actually help tell the story, and some might even steer your audience in the wrong direction. First up, boring crosstabs. Easy to build like Excel, but without any other KPIs, it may take too long for users to read through the table, especially in large groupings of data. Solution: definitely add color to highlight the KPIs you are trying to show. I personally like to use the quick table calculation and measure each column or row by percent of total. That way we can identify key points for each row or columns. Bonus points if you switch marks to bar and add size. This will create tiny bar charts in your crosstabs. Honestly though, try to avoid visualization using only crosstabs. Usually there are better charts and graphs to represent your analysis. Next, we have stacked bar chart of chaos. If there are too many categories in a bar chart across multiple bars, it can often lead to a noisy chart. If you really have to stick with more than a handful of categories in a chart, you can split the volume and percent total into two charts. That way you can instantly decipher which category is dominant in each bar. Make sure to label them appropriately. Highly recommend not to go beyond a handful of categories in a single bar chart. In some cases, you can show the dominant categories and group the rest. Let's look at the next bad chart candidate. Bad chart number 3, the never-ending pie. We've all received the request before. Clients love it, managers love it. In reality, bar chart is usually much more superior in terms of visualizing the story for any metrics with more than 3 categories. I know, your boss really wants the pie or donut chart. What we can do is simply show the dominant categories and group the other smaller ones together as other. Here's how to do it in Tableau. Find your category you'll be grouping. In this case, it will be product. Right-click Product and create Set. Rename it and click on the top tab. Select By Field, and in this example, it will be top 3 by Count Distinctive Complaint ID, which is the number of complaints. This will create a set that put the products in the top 3 bucket by number of complaints and the rest in another bucket. Now create a calculated field using the newly created set. It is a simple if-else function that shows the product if it's in the top 3 set, else the products will be all considered as other. Once done, simply pull the newly created calculated field into the color mark and done! Your boss will be impressed. Almost forgot, make sure to label them appropriately. Here we have a very common corporate line chart, looking back 12 months. In reality, it often only tells seasonality and can't really confirm any anomalies. Better yet, the trend line is usually misleading. If we sort the month back to January to December, you can see the trend line flip-flopped from positive to a negative trend line. In reality, it only tells you that number of complaints goes down during end of the year. Solution is easy. Add a comparison date range. In this example, we added another year to our line chart. We can easily identify the same seasonality, and the number of complaints in general is lower than last year. Lastly, we often remove 0 from our axis, but really this isn't usually recommended. Even with labels, it can cause bias and misleading understanding of the chart. The example we have here seems to show a large gap between complaints from credit card or prepaid card versus the other 2 products. But in reality, even though there is a gap, it was by no means that drastic. That's it for today. Hope you find these useful. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot to me.